Welcome everyone to the channel. If you're here for the first time, you've just stumbled upon one of the best places to explore the wild, the wonderful, and the deeply misunderstood creatures of our natural world. Today, we're diving into a bird that most people look at with disgust, with fear, or with a shiver running down their spine. But by the end of this video, I promise you, you're going to see this creature in a completely different light. Before we get started, do me a quick favor if you enjoy learning about animals and nature. Hit that subscribe button right now. It's free, it takes 1 second, and it helps this channel grow so we can keep bringing you amazing content like this. All right, let's get into it. Today, we are talking about the vulture. Now, when most people hear the word vulture, the first image that comes to mind is something dark and unsettling. You picture a large, hunched bird circling high above a barren desert landscape, waiting patiently for something to die below. Popular culture has painted vultures as symbols of death, decay, and doom. They show up in cartoons, perched on dead trees, in movies hovering over lost travelers in the wilderness, and in everyday language as metaphors for greed and exploitation. But here's the truth, that very few people talk about vultures are among the most important, most intelligent, and most ecologically vital birds on the entire planet. Without them, the world as we know it would be a far dirtier, far more dangerous, and far more disease-ridden place. Vultures are large birds of prey that belong to two distinct groups that evolved separately on different continents. The Old World vultures are found across Europe, Asia, and Africa, and they belong to the family Accipitridae, which also includes eagles, hawks, and kites. The New World vultures are found in the Americas and belong to the family Cathartidae. Despite looking remarkably similar and filling the same ecological role, these two groups are not closely related to each other. This is one of the most fascinating examples of what scientists call convergent evolution, where completely unrelated species develop similar physical traits and behaviors because they face similar environmental challenges and occupy similar ecological niches. Both groups independently evolved bald heads, broad wings, strong stomach acids, and a preference for carrion, all because the lifestyle of scavenging dead animals demanded these exact adaptations. Let's talk about what makes vultures so physically extraordinary. One of the most recognizable features of a vulture is its bald or nearly featherless head. Many people find this unattractive, but it's actually a brilliant adaptation. When a vulture feeds, it often has to stick its entire head deep inside the carcass of a dead animal. If the bird had feathers on its head, those feathers would become matted with blood, bacteria, and rotting flesh, creating a breeding ground for dangerous pathogens. By having bare skin on the head and neck, vultures can feed without accumulating harmful bacteria, and the sun's ultraviolet rays help sterilize their exposed skin after a meal. It's not ugly, it's genius-level biological engineering perfected over millions of years of evolution. Their wingspan is another marvel of nature. Many vulture species have enormous wingspans, with some reaching nearly 10 feet from tip to tip. The Andean Condor, which is a New World vulture, holds the record as one of the largest flying birds in the world. These massive wings allow vultures to soar for hours at a time without flapping, riding thermal updrafts that rise from the heated ground below. A vulture can cover hundreds of miles in a single day while barely expending any energy. This soaring ability is essential because vultures need to scan vast stretches of territory to locate food, and since they never know where or when a carcass will appear, energy efficiency is a matter of survival. Their eyesight is absolutely phenomenal. Vultures possess some of the sharpest vision in the entire animal kingdom. They can spot a carcass from several miles away while soaring thousands of feet above the ground. Some species of Old World vultures rely primarily on their extraordinary vision to locate food. New World vultures, particularly the turkey vulture, have an additional superpower, an incredibly well-developed sense of smell. The turkey vulture can detect the gases released by decomposing flesh from over a mile away, even when the carcass is hidden beneath dense forest canopy. This is extremely rare among birds, As most bird species have a very limited sense of smell, the turkey vulture's olfactory bulb, the part of the brain responsible for processing smell, is significantly larger than that of most other birds, giving it an almost supernatural ability to sniff out food. Perhaps the most impressive and underappreciated adaptation of vultures is their digestive system. Vulture stomach acid is extraordinarily powerful, with a pH level that can drop as low as 1, making it nearly 10 times more acidic than the stomach acid of most other animals. This incredibly corrosive acid allows vultures to safely consume meat that is riddled with dangerous bacteria, viruses, and toxins that would kill almost any other animal. Anthrax, botulism, cholera, rabies, vultures can eat carcasses infected with all of these deadly diseases and suffer no ill effects whatsoever. Their digestive system completely neutralizes these pathogens, effectively removing them from the environment. This is not just impressive biology, this is a public health service of immense value. And that brings us to the ecological role of vultures, which cannot be overstated. Vultures are nature's cleanup crew, and they perform this job with a speed and efficiency that no other animal can match. When a large animal dies in the wild, its body begins to decompose almost immediately. Without vultures, that carcass would lie rotting in the open for days or even weeks, becoming a festering source of disease that could spread to water supplies, livestock, and human populations. A group of vultures can strip a large carcass down to bare bones in a matter of hours, sometimes even minutes. By consuming dead and decaying animals so quickly and so thoroughly, vultures prevent the spread of diseases that would otherwise run rampant through ecosystems and human communities alike. The real-world consequences of vulture decline have already been documented in devastating detail. In parts of South Asia, vulture populations crashed by more than 95% in the 1990s and early 2000s due to a veterinary drug called Diclofenac, which was used to treat livestock. When cattle treated with Diclofenac died and vultures fed on their carcasses, the drug caused kidney failure in the birds, killing them in enormous numbers. With the vultures gone, carcasses piled up across the landscape. Feral dog populations exploded because they suddenly had an unlimited food supply. The surge in feral dogs led to a dramatic increase in rabies cases among humans. The absence of vultures was directly linked to tens of thousands of additional human deaths from rabies. This tragic chain of events proved beyond any doubt that vultures are not just helpful, they are absolutely essential to the health and stability of entire ecosystems, including human societies. Vultures are also surprisingly social and intelligent creatures. Many species live and roost in large communal groups, and they exhibit complex social behaviors that researchers are only beginning to fully understand. At a carcass, there is often a clear hierarchy among feeding vultures, with larger and more dominant species eating first, while smaller species wait their turn. Some vultures use tools. The Egyptian vulture, for instance, is known to pick up rocks with its beak and use them to crack open ostrich eggs, making it one of the very few bird species in the world known to use tools. Vultures also engage in a behavior called Urohidrosis, where they deliberately defecate on their own legs. While this might sound revolting, it serves two important purposes. The evaporation of moisture from the droppings helps cool the bird down in hot climates, and the highly acidic nature of the droppings helps kill bacteria picked up from feeding on carcasses. Every seemingly unpleasant thing about vultures turns out to have a perfectly logical and often brilliant explanation. There is incredible diversity within the vulture family as well. The world is home to 23 species of vultures, and they range dramatically in size, appearance, habitat, and behavior. The enormous Andean condor soars over the peaks of South America's highest mountains. The palm-nut vulture of sub-Saharan Africa is unusual because it primarily feeds on the fruit of oil palms rather than carrion. The bearded vulture, also known as the lammergeier, has one of the most spectacular feeding habits of any bird it carries: large bones high into the air and drops them onto rocks below to shatter them, then feeds on the nutritious marrow inside. The king vulture of Central and South America is strikingly colorful, with vivid orange, yellow, red, and purple skin on its head and neck, making it one of the most visually stunning raptors in the world. Each species has carved out its own unique niche, and each one contributes something irreplaceable to the ecosystem it inhabits. Sadly, vultures are now among the most threatened groups of birds on the planet. More than half of all vulture species are classified as near-threatened, vulnerable, endangered, or critically endangered. The threats they face are numerous and severe. Poisoning is the single greatest killer of vultures worldwide. In Africa, poachers deliberately poison carcasses to kill vultures because circling vultures alert park rangers to the location of illegally killed elephants and rhinos. Habitat loss, collisions with power lines and wind turbines, lead poisoning from ammunition fragments in hunter-killed game, and a general lack of public awareness and sympathy all contribute to the ongoing decline. The very traits that make vultures so ecologically valuable, their tendency to gather in large numbers at carcasses, also make them extremely vulnerable. A single poisoned carcass can kill dozens or even hundreds of vultures in one event. Conservation efforts are underway in many parts of the world, and there is genuine reason for hope. Captive breeding programs have helped stabilize populations of several critically endangered species. The ban on veterinary Diclofenac in India, Nepal, and Pakistan has slowed the decline of Asian vulture species, and populations in some areas are beginning to show signs of recovery. Vulture restaurants designated feeding stations, where safe, drug-free carcasses are provided for vultures, have been established in parts of Asia, Africa, and Europe. Education campaigns are working to change public perception and help people understand that vultures deserve admiration and protection rather than fear and disgust. Every person who learns the truth about vultures becomes a potential advocate for their survival. Vultures remind us of something profoundly important about the natural world: that beauty is not always obvious, and that the creatures we find least appealing are often the ones doing the most critical work behind the scenes. They don't have the majesty of an eagle or the charm of a songbird, but they keep our ecosystems clean, they prevent the spread of deadly diseases, and they do a job that no other animal on Earth can do as well. They are humble, hardworking, and absolutely indispensable. The next time you see a vulture circling overhead, don't look away. Look up and appreciate one of nature's greatest unsung heroes. All right. That wraps up today's deep dive into the incredible world of vultures. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, please smash that like button. It really does help more than you know. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new upload. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments what surprised you the most about vultures. Did this video change the way you think about them? Drop your thoughts below, start a conversation, and let me know what animal you'd like us to cover next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.